Hello and welcome to episode 105 of the HamCorp training manual. In this episode, we will craft the Mega Alloy Blast Smelter, green rocket fuel, the Tier 7 rocket, and also we siphon xenon from Neptune, massively speeding up our blast smelting. I have a small issue that is quickly going to cascade into a big issue. So to make the Mark III fusion control computer, I need a bit more grade 6 water. That's fine, that's going. But I need UU matter. Quite a bit of UU matter, and UU matter, as you may remember, is very slow. And I wanted to make the multi-block, the matter fabrication CPU, but this needs advanced nitinol, which is a rabbit hole. So I can make it in two ways. So I can laser engrave nitinol 60 to get advanced nitinol, but that needs a quantum anomaly, and that needs a whole bunch of other stuff. I need a compact cyclotron, unknown particle, which comes from compact cyclotron. I have to figure out what to do with all of these particles. Are they beams? Are they items? I have no idea. I don't really want to go into all of that yet. I'm not mentally prepared. So instead, what I am going to do is I'm going to try and get space flowers or UUM berries, or both. And the way to do that is with Gary. So I need to quickly clean up the weeds here. And so far, with Gary, I have almost exclusively used AutoStat and AutoSpread, but there is a third program, if you remember, and that's AutoTier. So I'm going to get some stickreed to get this started, and what's going to happen is it's going to breed all kinds of new plants and fill up the storage field. The Space Flower and the UUM Berry plants are both very high tier plants. I think it's 12 and 13, so this might take a while. Okay, Gary is hard at work, but I've decided that I don't want to wait that long, because I checked a little bit with my math, and with this old EV mass fabricator I have, it would take me about 127 hours of just waiting to get my UU matter for one craft of what I'm trying to craft. So I've decided I'm gonna let that keep running, but I'm also gonna make more LUV mass fabricators. As a reminder, these don't overclock normally. It's a fixed ratio of EU to UU matter, and the mass fabricator basically has 2 overclocks. Perfect 2 overclocks. So twice the power cost for half the time. So really it's no different than doing this setup in terms of EU. It's just the upfront cost of making these fabricators. And at this point, these ones are quite cheap. Now this should be done in about 4 hours. Mark III donut. I am starting to run out of space in this fusion tower, but that's fine. I think I'll make compact fusion soon, and those are going to go in the mega factory, so it doesn't really matter. Now, rocket fuel. Green rocket fuel. We need formaldehyde catalyst, which I actually needed for Kevlar, so this is done. Formaldehyde itself, which was also part of Kevlar, so this is done already. I need nitrogen tetroxide, which is pretty simple. And I need 1,1-dimethylhydrazine. This is made from hydrazine, which we've made before for rocket fuel, formaldehyde, hydrogen gas, and the formaldehyde catalyst. And finally, the hard part. I need vigorous lurenium machine casings. This is a little expensive. It needs a lot of piconium-64b, which is made in the alloy blast smelter. So before doing this, I am going to make the Mega Alloy Blast Smelter because this stuff is slow, very slow to make. I do need at least 70 for the quest. And once I have all that, making green rocket fuel is as simple as combining the 1,1-dimethylhydrazine with the nitrogen tetroxide. As for the Mega Alloy Blast Smelter, it's actually not that bad. It needs 4 stacks of alloy blast smelters. That's probably the worst part, to be honest. Everything else seems perfectly fine. I do need these Cinnabite A243 screws, but this is also not really that hard. It's a very slow blast in the alloy blast smelter, and it is somewhat expensive. It uses osmiridium, gadolinium, xeron, the quadria, but I only need 32 screws, so that's perfectly fine. And the multi itself looks like this. It uses the blast furnace coils, which is different because the original alloy blast smelter used these coils, the blast smelter heat containment coils. You get a slight speed bonus for using these coils, the normal coils, and an energy discount. Besides that, it's just a ton of glass, some coils, blast smelter casings, nothing else special. Now that this is done, I can go on to making the lurenium machine casings, but I discovered that I actually need some rhenium, which is an element we haven't isolated yet. And there are two ways to get this. So first, I can do pyrope froth. This is from milling. It's a type of ore processing, and I've heard it sucks, but when has that ever stopped me? That said, I won't be doing this right now because I only need a little bit of rhenium, and I don't want to set up a whole new line just to get a little bit. So for now, I will do the other method, which is getting molten rhenium from an alloy blast smelter recipe. So this uses purified molybdenum ore and carbon dust along with sulfuric acid, and that gets me molten rhenium. This is perfect because I just made the mega alloy blast smelter, so this should be really quick. After that, I can make the vigorous lurenium machine casing, and I can upgrade my Exxon. And I've kind of reconsidered making passive green rocket fuel. I don't need that much. So I think I'll just upgrade my on-demand Exxon, and I'll just craft it in here when I need it. And as you can see here, I have already started looking ahead to the tier 7 rocket, and there's kind of not much new. There's a little bit. It's more of the same in terms of the general process. The only difference is now I need compressed mitral plates, which is fine, and I also need the tier 7 heavy duty plates. This uses a lot of TNT, and it's an assembly line process at UHV, so I think for this batch that I'm making for the rocket, I'll just do it manually, and then later once I actually have UHV energy hatches, then I'll automate this. Or I'll teach the recipe anyway. This is made with heavy duty plates tier 6, neutronium bolts, and compressed mysterious crystal plates. And this is just a regular implosion compression. I didn't expect to do this today, but I think I'll also finish off the tier 7 rocket. But first, let me do the lurenium machine casings and the green rocket fuel. That is super pink. Now that that's done, I'm just gonna checkbox these quests because why not? I don't see the point in holding these cells. So these two are done. And now I just need to make some rocket fuel. I did decide to just make a nice big batch of 250 buckets. So this should last for some time. And with that, we have finished rocket fuel in GTNH. That's crazy. Now, while I'm at it, I may as well make the tier 7 rocket. So let's bang that out. Oh boy, tier 7 rocket. I did not think I was going to get this far. Well, there is a quest here in the UV quest tab that tells me the new things I've unlocked. So I have unlocked Haumea, the Kuiper belt, Makemake, I guess, and Pluto. So we are now able to reach the edge of the solar system. So the new ores we've unlocked now are black plutonium, which I had already, borax, chrysotile, I don't know what that is, garnet sand, nether star, realgar, some garnets. Nothing too special, to be honest. Now, I would like to make the space elevator. It is expensive, which is surprising to literally no one. Like, look at this thing. It's so big and so cool. And this is going to use a lot of neutronium. I don't think I have enough neutronium yet. I've been passive blasting it, but this is just going to take a long time to build up. In the meantime, I think it's time to enter UHV. The UHV material is neutronium, so this is going to hurt my neutronium supply even more, but it's in the name of progress, so I can't be too mad about that. My goal is to make the integrated ore factory. And this means I need to do basically the entire UHV tab. Let me look into some of these quests, see what's coming up, and then we'll officially enter UHV. You know, actually, I could build a space elevator. I'm looking at the neutronium cost, and it is a lot. It's like close to 10k neutronium. But I have built up a good amount of neutronium ingots now. I'm up to 9,000 almost. I might have enough. The problem is 388 UHV circuits. Oh my god. This is not doable. Oh, and this needs another like 15,000 neutronium. Okay, never mind. I'm not close at all. Actually, instead of pushing into UHV just yet, I want to finish off my xenon pump. So this is going to require a space station at Neptune, and Neptune is going to need a tier 6 space station. That means I need adamantite blocks, glass panes, ZPM circuits, and a ZPM hull. The decorative adamantite blocks are just a stone surrounded by compressed adamantite. I don't know if I can just use blocks of adamantium instead, because it seems to be ore dictionary to the same thing, but I think I'll make the decorative ones just for fun. Also, it says that it is likely I will lose my rocket when flying back to Earth, so I'm going to use one of my previous rockets, probably the Tier 6. I don't know when the Tier 7 rocket is going to get its maiden voyage, but not today. Once I've built a space station, I can then set up a planetary gas siphon. This is pretty easy to make. At this point, it's just some IV parts. The advanced machine frame, it's a bunch of weird galaxy space parts. There's compressed mithril, which is different than mitril for some reason. There's also the Tier 3 wafer, made from Naquata doped wafers. But yeah, this is pretty easy. Now, as for how I'm going to power it and bring the fluids back, I'm not sure. So powering it, it's going to need 2 amps of ZPM. So I think a quantum bridge isn't the worst idea in the world, but I think a better idea would be to use an Naquata reactor Mark IV, or maybe even Mark V, because this has higher fuel efficiency. And this is going to make 1 amp of UV, which means I could probably set up 2 gas siphons, and I may as well double the rate of xenon production. This is a little expensive though, it needs Naquadria rods. However, I have mostly solved my Naquadria issues. I'm mostly being bottlenecked here by not having enough phosphorus, but this should be fine for now. So I'm going to use an ender chest to transport my Naquadria rods over, and I'll use an ender tank to bring the xenon back. So I'm going to gather all of this stuff, and let's go set up a space station on Neptune. So actually, it does tell me in the quest book what that 350 for xenon means. It means 350 liters per second. But I'm making 2 siphons, so it's going to be 700 liters per second, and that's plenty, I think. I'm not blasting constantly. I mean, I am blasting the neutronium, but this should be able to keep up with that and have a surplus. All that's left to do is to actually go set it up. But first, I also figured I may as well make these ultra-heavy oxygen tanks. Like, why not? Apparently, mithril is not an alloy. I need to get mithril ore, which, like I said before, is different than mitril ore, with 2 Y's and a T. This one, luckily, I can get from quite a few different planets. Surprisingly, I haven't gotten any yet. So I guess we get to launch the Tier 7 rocket after all. And you know what? Just for fun, let's go to the Kuiper belt. So the Kuiper belt is past Pluto. It's the very edge of our solar system. And this is very icy. That makes sense. Now, I should have thought about this, but this is an asteroid belt, essentially. So, ores aren't going to spawn here normally, so I might have to fly around a bit. You know, maybe coming here wasn't the smartest idea. I should have realized that it's an asteroid belt. That makes perfect sense. And it's much harder to find what I'm looking for here than if I just went to another planet. So, I might just go to another planet and start scanning there, just to save myself time. But I am happy I came here. This place is really cool. And would you look at that? I have instantly found some. So I don't need much, so I figure I may as well just hand mine this. Okay, back on Earth, and I have set up the Earth side of my Naquadria rod fuel supply and my xenon storage. So here I have an ender tank, and there's a pump here pulling from the ender tank. So this will fill with xenon. And here I have my ender chest with an export bus set to Naquadria rods with a crafting card. So it'll make more when we need more. I've labeled both of them blue, blue, blue because xenon in the game is blue. I also have the materials I need to make the space station. I have my mining pipe that I need. Maybe I'll bring a little extra, actually. I have my planetary gas siphon. I'm missing something. Oh, right, my auto-taping maintenance hatches. So I'm going to wait for this to finish. I don't know why it stopped. I will investigate that. But once I have these, it's time to go set up a space station. Oh, dude, I just noticed something cool. So the rockets are actually, they don't care what fuel you feed them, as long as it's compatible. So this Tier 6 rocket used to have the purple fuel in it, and then I put it on the launch pad without thinking, and this has green fuel in it, but it still goes in and it just mixes, and it's just turned into fuel. So it just works. That's nice. Anyway, I'm going to use the Tier 6 rocket just in case I lose the rocket, because I don't really care if I lose this one, and it's cheaper for me to remake this than to remake a tier 7. For now, let's go make the space station. So to make the space station around Neptune, I'm going to click Neptune here and then create on the right. And this has now made a space station, which I can land on. And I can rename. Ooh, I didn't think about this. Alright. I just kind of spawned in the space station and I got my rocket back. Nice. Alright, the gravity here is quite weak and my inertia canceling doesn't seem to fully work. Oh, I didn't think about... Does it rain here? Will my machines explode? I did not think about that. Maybe I can hijack some of these blocks to make a little roof. I'm gonna leave this space just open because it seems like this is where the rockets land, so I don't want to mess with that. And I will instead expand this way. Damn it. I forgot my tungsten steel frame boxes. Ah. Alright, I'm gonna go home and I'll also bring some more blocks so I can actually build here. Alright. I finally got it working. So it is a relatively simple setup, I think. So I got my ender chest supplying Nequadria rods. These rods go into the Nequadria reactor. I am now realizing I need a way to get rid of these rods. Okay, one more trip home. I'll do that later. This goes through the superconductor UV wire to the UV energy hatches. I tried with ZPM before because I was like, oh, it's 2 amps of ZPM and each energy hatch accepts 2 amps. But apparently they don't do that unless there are 2 energy hatches on the block, on the multi-block. So I had to replace it with a UV hatch, but it uses half an amp of UV. So this should be fine. I am wall sharing the maintenance hatch. I am wall sharing the output hatch as well for Xenon. And the Xenon is coming in now. Over here I have my input bus with a program circuit set to the depth I want to extract from, and that is 4 in this case. Now, like I mentioned before, there might be invisible rain here. I still don't know, so I'm just gonna make double sure and just close this off, just to be completely, totally safe and not have to worry about it. Cool. Xenon. And even cooler, space station. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will officially enter UHV, and we will slowly start gathering the blocks required for the space elevator, while also investigating how to proceed towards the integrated ore factory. See you next time.